I am Irvin, founder and president of Pennsylvania Capital Management. As you know, our mission is to not only create wealth and help our clients preserve it, but to also provide solutions through the lens of money and finance as our clients' lives change. Today, I'm excited to introduce you on our podcast to another game-changing leader in the public relations world, Justin Breen. He works with business owners and entrepreneurs around the world and shares with them the secrets they need to know to scale their businesses and grow their companies. I'm excited about our conversation today, Justin, and what actionable steps our listeners can take away from this podcast. So let's jump right in. How does an entrepreneur who has creative strategies make their way into the world of social media in a scalable way?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. My whole life is spending time with my family or connecting the world's top visionaries to serve humanity. So I don't really think about business owner stuff. It's confusing to me. But what I will say is social media platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, they're a great way to showcase the accomplishment of others. Something I do 5 days a week on LinkedIn. I have about 35,000 followers there, but I do a thing called a grateful journal. What I'm grateful for each day. So conversations like this, or something that our family did that was cool, or being part of some group, or a show that a PR partner was on, or someone new joined Epic Network. So I really use social media as a commercial for other people, and then showing the cool things that I'm part of. Like I just rang the NASDAQ bell on Monday and got to meet Deepak Chopra, so that was fun. And my wife and I were in Necker Island with Sir Richard Branson and lots of entrepreneurs a couple weeks ago. So it's cool to post things like that to show people what entrepreneur life can lead to with the right mindset.
Sounds to me like mindset is critical.
It's 100%. It's the number one. Yeah, I was on a show earlier today and the host was saying, oh, mindset's 80% of the key. No, 100%. 100%. It's 100%. And in my brain, most of my days talking to the world's top visionaries when I'm not with my family. Most of them are ADD, ADHD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. Not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans. And then most of them just ramble. And then I hear blah, 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 and then simplify into patterns. And the best pattern that I've seen that my brain has done is right mindset attracts right network, creates right opportunities. So right mindset attracts right network, creates right opportunities. And then wrong mindset attracts wrong network, no network / no opportunities. So mindset's 100%.
How do you teach your clients how to change that mindset so that it's a much more expansive view of the world and how they make their opportunities happen?
Well, it's a great question. I don't even say client, I'd say partners. It's interesting. When first started first company with zero business background, I was using the word client a lot more, but it kind of transformed into partnership. But the purpose of my life is connecting visionaries to serve humanity. So really what the PR firm is connecting visionaries to serve humanity through discussions like this, shows like this. The second company, which is, I guess, just a mastermind or a SaaS platform, it's just a SaaS platform connecting visionaries to serve humanity for any type of connection. We don't talk about business owner stuff in those discussions. We talk about scaling levels of consciousness or meaning of life or how to put family and higher power first. And I found that all this business owner stuff is just a byproduct of being totally focused on purpose and then totally focused on higher power / family. So that's what we talk about. And then collectively, when the scale of consciousness is raised within the group and then within conversations like this, the byproduct is profit goes up, new businesses are formed, books are written, all that stuff. And then if you look at the word byproduct, it's literally a product of raising levels of consciousness, the byproduct. So that's what I look at as business. It's just an extension of purpose.
Justin, the social media world seems to be not only exploding, but is changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
How do entrepreneurs decide which site or which platform will give them the greatest traction?
Everything to me is like learning, and I don't understand people that overthink or take forever to make a decision. I just do something and then see what happens. I'll give you examples if it's helpful. Before starting Entrepreneur Journey, February 10th, 2017 was the anniversary of starting Entrepreneur Journey. So as a journalist, Twitter was a much bigger deal. Facebook was a much bigger deal to find stories or develop sources and things like that. And at the time, I did not have as large of a LinkedIn following. But what I discovered first, I guess, I mean, I was a visionary, I was an entrepreneur, but I was still thinking in business owner terms. So I noticed that LinkedIn it started to become the main thing pretty quickly on starting first company, and then really started building a following on that. And again, now it's around 35,000. But, like a restaurant owner would probably want Instagram to matter more, or TikTok or something like that. I mean, I use social media as a commercial for other people. That's how I use it. And that I have found that give to the people who get it mindset really attracts people who give to the people who get it, and people who give to the people who get it are almost always top visionaries on planet.
Justin, obviously you like to work with visionaries and you like to stretch their vision.
Yes.
How do you decide which ones? And also, what are the characteristics of your clients that make them unique and marketable?
It's a great question. So again, every day is an opportunity to learn. My favorite quote is from Earl Nightingale. He's the OG of motivational speakers. His quote is, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." My second favorite quote of his is, "You become what you think about." So all I think about is spending time with my family and connecting visionaries to serve humanity. Everything's a pattern or a formula or a ritual or a habit. And then I found certainly the only people that our firms will partner with, they only have 3 attributes, only 3. So one, they're a visionary. They see things before other folks. They live in full abundance. There's no scarcity. And then most importantly, they only look at things as investments, not costs. So they're in full investment, visionary, abundance mindset. And I found that there's a 4-step journey when starting a company, or really when you're starting a life when you're born. But I'll talk about it in I guess, business aspects. So one, you get first company. I reached out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients with 0 business background. That's totally fine, totally understandable. A lot of people stay at get, which confuses me. But then there's get to give. So you're mostly getting, but you're giving a little bit, but you're mostly still trying to get. Then there's give to get. So this is where the overwhelming majority and non-visionaries stop. So you're giving, let's say, 8 intros, but you're still trying to get 2 back or 1 back. So you're still trying to get a little bit. And then you get to the true visionary investment abundance level, and that's give to the people who get it. So top visionaries on planet are those who will make investment to become top visionary on planet. I will endlessly give to them, regardless if I get anything back, because they get it and they understand what being and playing at the highest level of visionary investment abundance is, and then they just want to.
That makes sense.
It
makes a lot of sense, Justin. It really does.
Yeah. And so again, I think the key, one, thank you for saying that, because you're a very high level thinker, engineer brain activator with a deep understanding of this, and you're an ultimate optimist. And what I found is once you know the patterns, all these other things kind of take care of themselves. And then the really exciting thing is when you create your own patterns with what you've learned. So I just keep making bigger investments into smaller rooms, but the people in those rooms are making bigger impact. That allows me to spend biggest investment in smallest room, which is my family, where I can make the most impact. So it's the same formula. And then you create your own big investment, smaller room, bigger impact company, and that becomes bigger investment, bigger room, even bigger impact company. So, but then again, that allows me to spend biggest investment in smallest room, which is my family, where I can make the most impact.
Justin, how granular do you get with your clients in terms of bringing down those big macro concepts into scalable steps? Because part of what I want today to provide for our listeners is how do they take these and make these recommendations into actionable steps?
So I live a very simple life. I'm a simplifier. So take complexity and just simplify it. Very simple. There are 2 main ways. From a storytelling aspect, everyone I talk to is a genius. They're all very high IQ. And then many times high IQ brains have a hard time communicating human. So I'll speak with them and they'll, ramble on for 10 minutes what they're up to. And I'll go, "Oh, thank you very much for explaining all that. No one understands what you're talking about. Explain it to me as a 3rd grader in 15 seconds. So they're geniuses and their brains can quickly react to that. And then it's like a boom, immediate mindset shift. And that's a way to simplify their message. And then my brain, its gift is connecting visionaries to serve humanity. So it's like a CRM of Colby scores or strength finders or Trent Enneagram scores or where someone's located or if they've been divorced or if they had childhood trauma, and I can just remember it and then just connecting them through that. And I found the best way to scale in life, and this is the second part, is there are only two questions I ask myself every day that matter, and then I bring it up with the folks that I talk to or partner with. But there are only two questions that matter to me on a 10x level. One, did I have a good experience that day with my family? Two, did network grow on a global level? So I found all this other stuff takes care of itself. And if it's helpful as context, what I see in this world is they're visionaries, because I only talk to visionaries. If it's not a visionary, it gets very confusing very quickly. But I guess the struggle I see is they're visionaries, but then they get morphed into business owner world because they think they need that. They think they need all this revenue or employee count or making this list or whatever that is. And they become miserable because they're not business owners, they're visionaries. And so having these type of conversations raises, one, their awareness, and two, raises their level of consciousness so they can think more about visionary things and not business owner things. And then I talk to 1 to 2 visionaries every single week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from having a family. And that's what Epic Life book is about, and very grateful Dr. Peter Diamandis wrote the forward for that, and it's how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. So again, having this awareness in these type of conversations, which quote unquote business owners almost never have, but visionaries who are visionaries that get trapped into business ownership, they want to have these conversations because they're not business owners, they're visionaries.
That's a great summation. I liked it. Speaking of simplifying, if I were to take what you just said and to make it very simple, you're challenging people that thought they were business owners or entrepreneurs to become visionaries. And if they're not visionaries, in many ways, that's what you're teaching them how to see and how to think as. So you got a very important value in terms of you're, in effect, spinning them around and saying, no, you're going the wrong direction.
I'm making them realize what they actually are, or who they actually are, I should say. There are two things I hear more than anything else. And I'm very grateful for this, by the way. I don't take it for granted. And just this background as a journalist, I was a journalist for 20 years, so you don't get into that for revenue, employee count, office space. Like I don't understand or care about any of that stuff. I never have. It's confusing to me. It's winning the wrong game. But there are two things that I hear. One, wow, that was the most refreshing conversation I've ever had. Okay, so that's one. That's good. I hear that at least once a day. Two, no one's understood me without ever meeting me better than you have, because I spend my life talking to visionaries and have endless empathy for them and understand them many times better than they understand themselves, because they're surrounded by business owners or employees or people that are trying to make this list or narcissists or all that kind of stuff. And I'm the opposite of that. I just want to connect visionaries to serve humanity and guide them to doing that.
You know, it's funny, Justin, what I'm hearing is this remarkable shift in attitude of you don't want to be a business owner, you want to be a visionary. You don't change your mindset soon, you're going to go backwards instead of going forwards. And life comes down to two priorities: your family, because they're the closest ones to you and the ones that you're going to make a huge difference in their lives and enjoy it while you're going through it. And the other is serving the world in meaningful ways. So get on the stick and reorient your priorities to what really matters.
Well, one, I'm very grateful that you said that. We're both simplifiers, so we're simplifying each other's simplification. And I like that. I mean, that's how I learn in real time. So like pre-interviews and all that stuff, it doesn't matter to me. But I have found that there are only two types of geniuses. So one is genius brain. So this is the high IQ, the Caltech, the MIT, the funnel maker, the genius funnel makers. Many of them, certainly not all, but many of them do not have genius heart. So these are narcissists, addicted to work. All they care about is scaling a company, business owner stuff. By the way, that's fine. It's difficult for me to have those conversations with them, but it's fine. And then there's the genius heart. So this is hippie on street, kumbaya, small nonprofit, guitar player, whatever that is. But they don't have a genius brain, so they can't mechanize it. What I have found, the true visionary, and the only people I talk to or partner with or are part of network or PR, whatever that is, they have both genius brain and genius heart. And that's where you see true global collaboration.
Justin, when you take a look at the outcomes of what you're able to do with your clients over time, what kind of scaling up are you seeing? I mean, give us some examples of what's it like after you find someone that says, I got it. I want to get there. I want to become that visionary, taking care of my family first, and then going after the world. How do they progress and how do you measure it?
Thank you for asking that. I'm not a measurer other than one thing, their scale of consciousness, which is Dr. David Hawkins. He spent basically his entire life. He died in 2003, but he spent his whole life creating a chart about scale of consciousness. So what I see within our groups, because it's with specifically the network, each meeting's between 30 and 40 visionaries. In terms of a Kolbe, KOLBE.com, A index standpoint, if there's 30 to 40 people, there might be one or two under a 7 quick start in Kolbe in that room. So they're all visionary, mostly ADD, just go for it, go for it. And most of these people have spent their lives talking to only a handful of people like us. And so to get dozens of them in one room at the same time, it's an immediate jump in scale of consciousness. But we have one member who has created a site called Pick My Brain, where she's essentially compiling the world's top experts for anything, and then people wind up paying for their time to mentor them or whatever. And she's raising 7 figures. So one of our other members is one of the top women purpose-driven investors in US. And she's like, oh, I have lots of people that can help you with that. So she's already raised well over 6 figures of that 7-figure investment after just one network meeting. So, but I don't usually have examples or even think about things like that. It's just something that came into play. But what I do know is when the level of consciousness is raised, then all this other stuff I found takes care of itself, because right mindset attracts right network, creates right opportunities.
It almost sounds like if your clients listen to your steps in raising their mindsets, the rest takes care of itself. They'll make a difference in the world. They'll figure out what it is. And that's exciting. It actually leads me to the next point I want to discuss, which is how do you combine these journeys? Meaning, if you have a whole series of different clients that are all trying to make a difference in the world based on their vision, you bring them together for an even bigger.
Oh, well, okay. So I'm not a detail person. So the partner for second company, Mark Fujiwara, he's a pure visionary backstage. He does 8 and 9 figure deals all day. And then my wife, Sarah, is a pediatrician, and then she's COO of the company. So they do all the backstage stuff. So they've planned big in-person event for all our members. And then we have like gold medalists, and Tiger Woods, Lance Armstrong's coach, is going to be one of the speakers, you know, all that. And then more importantly, many of the members will be speaking about what they're doing and what they're building. And the best way I have to describe what Epic Network is that it's the ultimate backstage for front stage people. So front stage visionaries. So like front stage visionaries are working on changing the world, or they are changing the world. And then what they want to do is have the right backstage advice or connections. And then it's all visionaries. So no one's holding them back. It's allowing them to go forward very quickly.
Tell me this, does Brepic and the service that you provide with your team, you and Mark and the others, how small a company do you take on to help them with expanding their vision and prioritizing what they need to?
So I don't care about someone's revenue. I don't care about their employee count. I don't care where they live. I don't care what they do. All of that is meaningless to me. That is business owner stuff. A visionary has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Nothing. That's business owner, consultant, human employee stuff. Many of our members have had 8, 9 figure exits. Most of them are millionaires and beyond. And then we have a handful that are full startup, but they made the investment to join the group because they're a visionary and they want to be around visionaries who don't make excuses. So how much money they have is immaterial. Other than money is energy. Dr. Diamandis says that. I don't believe in excuses. So if someone lives in what do you cost or charge, or says I can't afford this, then they're not a visionary. They're not a visionary, because if you have limits with your own cost, charge, scarcity mindset, you're not a true visionary.
Justin, I want to get practical here. As you said, this is not about the money they have. This is about the mindset they have.
Yes.
In my experience, since we serve successful families and we help them not just create wealth, but through the lens of money and finance, we're seeing life change. How can we help them? How can they overcome their stumbling blocks? One of them is constant distractions for entrepreneurs and small business owners, constant every day.
Yes, that's called ADD.
What do you recommend for for them to drill down to grow their companies? Is it a matter of delegation?
Two
Is it a
questions.
matter
Yeah,
of,
two questions. So one, only two questions I ask myself every day that matter. Did I have a good experience that day with my family? Two, did network grow on a global level? So any visionary can ask themselves those questions to really look at each day as a win. One of the chapters in Epic Life is how to find your babs or have your babs find you. I'm a visionary. I'm not a manager. I would destroy the company. If I tried to build a SaaS platform, I'd electrocute myself. But the very quick story with this is we're both in strategic coach, very grateful for that. And then that was started by Dan Sullivan, and then his wife and business partner is Bab Smith. So when I was starting Epic Network, I'm like, I'm good at connecting people, but I don't know how to build a SaaS platform. And I was talking to Dan virtually during Abundance 360 during COVID on a side chat, and I go, hey, I'm looking to find my babs. And Dan's like, well, the trick is have your babs find you. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that. And so Strategic Coach has a tool called an impact filter, which like you fill out and like best result, worst result, here's what has to happen. So filled that out, started sending it out to some friends. And then one of them is Mark Fujiwara, who's in San Francisco. My wife and I are in Chicago, and Mark saw it and he goes, oh, that's a good idea. I'll be your babs. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And so for about a year and a half, Mark and I were partners. It was a 50-50 partnership, and it wasn't going fully anywhere because both of us are visionaries. And then so my wife, Sarah, who again is a pediatrician, she saw that friction, and she's a pure integrator, like a pure stabilizing human, high achiever, very high follow through integrator. And she's like, oh, what if I join your company? I'm like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. So that was in May of 2023. And since then, so she's onboarded over $500,000 in new members. We're about to be named one of the top 5 masterminds on the planet. She's planned all the in-person, and she does all the scheduling. She hired an assistant. It's really exciting to see that. But again, success is progressive realization of we're the ideal, and we're the ideal connecting visionaries to serve humanity. And then it just has evolved through time, and it'll just keep getting better and better.
Exciting. It's exciting to hear about your progress and the impact that you're making. And I'm just guessing, but you can confirm this, that finding Mark and figuring out that your wife both could be Babses to you, like Babs is to Dan Sullivan as strategic coach.
Yeah.
Must have brought you such joy, because all of a sudden you got the relief of, hey,
Yes.
There's other people with the right talents to complement mine, so we can grow faster and make a bigger impact.
One, thank you for saying that. Two, it's a byproduct of understanding the right mindset and knowing that. And then three, like weaknesses are great, actually. I look at weaknesses as an opportunity to find a collaborative strength. I see the world in numbers and keywords, and then my wife sees the world in joy and relationships and hugging and rainbows or whatever that is. But in Strength Finders, I'm dead last in empathy and second to last in includer. For visionaries, I have endless empathy, endless. And Mark, his Strength Finders, his top 3 are competition 1, maximizer 2, empathy 3. So he's collaborative empathy. I am 31 out of 34 in harmony. And Sarah, Dr. Sarah, my wife, she's harmony 1. So she's harmony, relator, achiever. I'm activator, maximizer, achiever. So she and I are both achiever 3. She just does it with hugs and harmony. I just do it with go, 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 go.
Let's shift to AI for just a minute. Obviously, one of the key buzzwords everywhere you go,
Yes.
every network, every conference, Davos, wherever you might be,
Yeah.
it's coming to the forefront. How does AI work into your outreach? And is it impactful in terms of taking the vision we were just talking about and making it come alive in the world to create a better world? The positive side of
Tremendous.
AI.
Okay, well, I live in full abundance, so I don't even think about the negatives. I don't even think about it. And all AI and all this new technology or Zoom or whatever it is, all it is for me is a chance to build better real human relationships, which is what this is, even though we're meeting on Zoom or whatever. And then 2, better storytelling. So how our company will be evolving is we will be creating an AI tool. Can't give full details, but we're in discussions to create an AI tool. Like my brain is like a CRM of visionary geniuses, and then I can see whether someone immediately right away is a visionary or not. So this would be an AI tool to essentially do the same. And then two, on Necker Island, great friend of mine, Jason Lowe, who's also in strategic coach, he brought up a really great idea that his companies are executing. And he mentioned all of his employees. He's got dozens and dozens of employees, but they all have AI assistants for themselves. And AI to me, like, is also collaborative empathy or collaborative harmony. Like, how do I write this in a nice way? How do I write this in an effective way? And so that's what AI is to me from an assistant standpoint. But I'm really excited to see how the network evolves with the AI tool when that gets introduced.
And is that something you'll provide to your clients as well?
Well, I'm not a detail person, but again, all I do is talk to ideators like you. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that. So that seems like a very good idea. That would make sense. I'll give you an example of, so one of our members, he creates surveys. I talk about Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, and one of our members, Brian Howard, he's a 10 quick start in Colby. And he's like, oh, hey, what if I try to create a survey that measures someone's level of consciousness? Because I had not been able to find anything that did that without, other than being intuitive and just looking at the scale. So he just sent me the beta test for it, and I took it, and the homepage for it was through Brepic Network. I'm like, dude, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, thanks a lot. Thank you. So frankly, I think our members who are mostly ideators, they're the ones that will come up with the ideas that you're talking about, or collaborations. And that's all I want to do is connect people and then bring them together, because I know when you have a room of people like that, there are no limits. Like, that's the ultimate number. Like, measuring someone's level of consciousness, if that can be done effectively, that is huge. That is beyond huge, because that will help the world for sure.
Tell me about uniqueness from visionary to visionary. It just dawned on me as you were saying that the uniqueness must be vastly different. Look, we're all different people with different experiences and different visions. How does that fit into your model of serving clients and changing the world?
So everything's a pattern. There are only 4 types of visionaries. One is ADD, ADHD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. It's not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans. That's the overwhelming majority of the people I talk to. 2 is minor Asperger's. My wife, who is a doctor, is unofficially diagnosed me with that. Hyper-focused, lack of social cues in a regular human setting, but in visionary world, ADD people love me because I can cut through all the stuff and simplify into an answer. 3 is dyslexia. We were just on Necker Island, Richard Branson's island. He's one of the 30% of visionaries that has dyslexia. And then 4 is astronomically high IQ and or EQ. Astronomically high IQ and or EQ. So on the spectrum, gifted, whatever you want to describe it as, it's just the opposite of, I guess, regular normal human being. I was a journalist for 20 years, and all I do is talk to people like us. I've found only 2 commonalities between top visionary, top athlete, top musician, top actor, whatever that is. One, they have the same mindset, visionary abundance investment mindset, no excuses, none, no excuses. And then 2, I have not seen the exception to this. If you know an exception to this, I want to meet this person. It'd be the most interesting study ever, but I haven't met them yet. That all these visionaries or top actor or top athlete, whatever, they had at least one person who genuinely cared about them and or believed in them. That could be a parent, an aunt or uncle, grandparent, a coach, a teacher, a mentor. I have not seen the exception yet where someone had no one who cared about them. That would be fascinating if that happened. I don't see that happening, but it would be amazing to me.
It's a very exciting time we're in. And obviously, what you were saying in there was there's a degree of positive approach or positivism.
Yes.
As you look through your clientele, they have to see the world not as half empty or half full.
Oh, you just said it. You said they have to see the world. I'm very grateful you said that. Here's what I see. So business owners, humans, employees, consultants, whatever. So they care about revenue, employee count, office space, whatever that is. And they're trying to change their world, there. A true visionary cares about purpose, connectivity, spending time with loved ones. They're changing the world, the fundamental difference.
Well, look, you've got to get outside of your own world if you're going to make a difference in the world.
So anyone who makes an excuse or lives in cost scarcity world, they're their own problem, because they're still trying to change their world with their own cost scarcity mindset. And a visionary, you can't be a visionary if you're the problem.
I think actually that's a great spot for us to finish up. I want to thank you, because I'm going to do a little simplifying right now.
Yes, I can't wait to hear this with your brain.
Your mission is to get out in the world and find those visionaries that
Yes.
see the world as
Yes.
the goal. They want to
Yes.
make a difference in that world. The
Yeah.
biggest difference they can make, start their own higher power, which I certainly do as well every morning. One to their family, make a huge difference, keep them close, encourage them, love them, support them, and then go out into the world and make their difference. That's the people you want to surround yourself with, because not only are they clients, but they're the people that'll bring you joy and bring you fulfillment. And what a great way to earn a living or make your future, even if you're not focused on the money.
Earn a living. That's a very profound thing that you just said. This is earning life. It's earning it. And what I am is a scout. That's what I am. Visionary scout.
You're a visionary scout for finding people who want to expand and enhance the world around them. They become your clients and your joy. Well, I want to thank everyone who has joined us today. I hope you've learned a lot about Justin's view on the world, what he brings with them through his company, and how he educates his clients and how he makes a difference in the world. It's obvious it comes from the heart. This is not a head choice. This is a heart choice and a commitment to his life.